talking about balls deep. I'm talking about balls deep. I'm talking about balls deep in love.
What is up, folks? It is I, Jet, and I'm here again to do another video with you. And it's again our girl Amberlynn. Sorry, I do not have my lighting set up figured out. Still a disaster, I know. This is all being hashed out. The video is called My Bad Poetry for a reason, I assure you. Before I start the video, I wanted to discuss something. Well, it's not really a discussion. It's kind of like I'm going to talk. You guys have no choice but to listen. But anyways, I thought I'd tell you guys because it's kind of becoming hard to hide it. I had a discectomy disc fusion a while ago, and the vertebrae above and below the disc I had removed and replaced were fucked also, but not to the point where they need to replace them. These same pain and numbness and bullshit is happening again. So that is why my arm is in a sling, because the more stationary it is, the less it hurts and the less you notice the numbness and all that jazz. The more and more like it's like this, the further the numbness goes from just one part of your hand to the entire hand to the whole arm. It's like a nightmare. It's been going on a while, and it's starting to really get to me. A lot. Like a lot. But, this, I think it's Wednesday, I'm gonna have an epidural done, and hopefully that takes care of some of it. Hopefully. And then we just have to get the insurance company to finally let my doctor look at it. At any of it. Because she's not Superman and she does not have X-ray vision. So, that is what's wrong with my arm. It's not broken. I can use it somewhat, but it hurts to use. And I hate it. So that's why my arm's in a sling. And probably Wednesday, I'm not going to be making videos for the rest of the week. Maybe Tuesday on, I might not be making videos. I have to see. Depends on how the whole thing goes. And I'll let you know how the whole thing goes on Wednesday. Let's begin this. I don't know if she's becoming self-aware or she's gotten the message that her poetry sucks, or at least the ones that I've heard. So, let's see. You guys know how I like to do my videos. We sit down together. We watch a video. Cringe in unison like the family that we are. Comments where comments are due. And this is Amberlynn. So, they're due. So slap on your happy faces, act like you want to be here. So we got work to do. And it's her poetry. Let's see how far we can get with this mess. Let's go.
Hey guys. So, here is a vulnerable video for you.
Translation. She wants us to be nice to her, whether her poetry sucks or not. Pretty much. Who's got the bubble wrap? I'm all out. Seriously, who's got the bubble wrap? I hate when she does videos like this. It's kind of like the same thing as reading my comments. She's expecting us to write shitty things in the comments section so she can curl up in a ball and talk about how everyone's mean to her. Wasn't this like the video yesterday? God, I hate this. This is so dumb. This is like hanging out with a perpetual 14-year-old who causes drama constantly just so she can talk about. You see, like, everyone always starts shit with me. Like, I can't go anywhere without the haters just bringing me down. Well, let's see what happens. Should be great. I have a feeling she's good at writing poetry. People with, like, super deep hearts are just really good at poetry. And as we all know, our girl, Amber, has the deepest heart.
I feel like I'm standing nude. In front of you guys right now, because this is like my true inner feelings. So I just want to start off by saying that I have been on Instagram for days now, maybe over a week, just like super obsessed with interacting with you guys, answering your guys' questions, and it's been real fun for me. And I happened to share a poem on there, and you know, I get majority of people saying, wow, you're a really good writer, which feels really good. But then the minute I get one mean thing about my poetry, I'm just like, all the good stuff kind of goes away.
Oh, well, that makes this a super great idea. Majority, they say that my writing is super good, but one guy comes out of the back and says it blows goats, and I just burn it all. It sounds like sounds like something Shakespeare would say. Why would you think this is a good idea if that's how you feel about your writing?
So I've been writing poetry since 6th grade.
Bruh. Everyone has been writing poetry since the fucking 6th grade. Every dude who's wanted to slay pussy has been writing poetry from the 6th grade. The really horny dudes that have been wanting to slay pussy since they were in Pampers wrote poetry before that. That doesn't mean anything. That's not like a miraculous thing. The 6th grade is not when, like, poetry masters came into play. Really. I'm just letting you know.
And I know a lot of like my really old stuff has turned up on the internet. I'm talking things that I wrote when I was 17. You have to realize that was 13 years ago. I am a completely different writer now than I was then. People blossom, people change, whether they get better or they get worse. Like, it is what it is. Poetry for me is a really good outlet, and I love writing poetry whether I'm good or whether I'm bad. And I just think 100 people can read the exact same poem, and there are going to be people in there who absolutely hate it and despise it, and there are also going to be people in there who love it and resonate with it. I think
it's resonate. It's not resignate. It's resonate. Yeah, resonate. Let's resonate with it. I hate when you add extra letters into a word. You just shouldn't. Don't.
The most beautiful thing about poetry is that you can read it and think of something that the author didn't even really present. And that's happened to me several times. And that's kind of what happened with the poem that I put on Instagram. A lot of people were messaging me saying, oh, I know what this is about, blah, blah, blah. So I do want to explain that a little bit. And I'm also going to read the poem, which I'm nervous about. So when I'm writing poetry, it is mainly just like a way for me to journal. it's just the best way for me to express myself and how I'm feeling. I never sit there with the thought process of, okay, I'm gonna write a poem. Let's make it sound good. Let's have it flow the right way. I more so just let my fingertips talk, and that's usually what works best for me.
Oh, I'm gonna hate this. I'm gonna fucking hate it, aren't I? You are already making excuses for your own writing. You already are. And you already sound pretentious. I just let my fingers do the talking. Really? I heard a molester say the same thing. No. No. How about you don't? I hate when people talk about their work like that. Like, it's alright to love your poetry, but talk English. It's like, I find that poetry is the best way I can communicate, my feelings. I just like the way poetry flows. I don't feel restricted when I write poetry. Blam. But no, you have to go for the whole, I let my fingers do the talking. Ugh. Made me want to vomit. Anyways, continuing. What other excuses do you have?
And, I'll proofread it and stuff, but 9 times out of 10, I leave it how I did it. My rough draft is always my final draft, mainly because my poetry is strictly, okay, well, that's how I was feeling in the moment. So I'm gonna read it, and then I'm gonna tell you guys what a lot of people thought it was about, and I'm kind of gonna explain it a little bit so you guys can maybe understand a little bit better. I'm like really nervous. But I do want to say that what I writ this poem about.
I'm sorry, what did you just say? Writ? I'm sorry, what was that? I'm sorry, poetry master, what was that word? Writ? That's what I thought you said. English, just English whiz. I hope there's little gems like that in your poetry. Then it'll really speak to me. Writ. That's one of them, their words. Writ. I'm fucking excited now. That's one of them, their $10 words. Writ. Wow.
If you think of it as something different and it resonates with you in a different way.
Bitch, it's resonate. Resonate. There isn't even a G in this word. Where the fuck are you finding a place to stick that? Other than your ass.
Don't let me change that, because I love poetry in the sense that I love that I can read a poem from someone and it hits home somewhere completely different than what the author intended. So let's get into it. Okay, so this poem is called I'm Fine. Loneliness was her autobiography. She sat in her room and counted the cracks in the ceiling. Her mind was the destination she tried to run away from. She forgot how it felt to laugh with other people, beg her to smile, and her face would crack. She hid mascara-stained pillowcases and novels full of self-hatred. Ask her how she's doing and she'd lie and say I'm fine. Ask her how she's doing and she'd lie. Ask her how she's doing. Ask me how I'm doing. I'm so tired of being this lonely. I'm so terrified that this is it for me, that these tears are all it'll ever be. I'm beginning to think that you don't want to hold me. I don't want this to be the death of me, for I have lost the best in me. I'd lie and say I'm fine.
Please clap.
So that is the poem, and I feel like I needed to put emphasis on some of it because I feel like emphasis makes it maybe understood a little bit better. So the reason why I'm making this is because I can't even tell you how many messages I got where people are like, I know this is about Becky. I know they broke up. I know Amberlynn's unhappy with her. And just all this really untrue stuff. And so it's like, it goes in a rumor mill and then everyone, you know, starts to believe it and all that. So I kind of just want to explain what I meant and I guess where my thought process was at the time of making this poem. So when I said loneliness was her autobiography, that's pretty much self-explanatory. I feel lonely a lot of the time, and you could be in a room full of a million people who absolutely adore you and you could still feel lonely. It has nothing to do with your relationship or your friendships or anything around you. Absolutely not.
Yes, it doesn't have anything to do with it. And you can not be lonely all the time. If you realize that you have mental health issues and you talk to someone and try to help yourself, you still don't get rid of those lonely, empty feelings all the time. But you can lessen that feeling, which you didn't really try to do. You let that shit fester a lot. And you're doing it now, too. Which you shouldn't. But you won't do anything about it. So you're not getting my sympathy on that one.
So next line is she sat in her room and counted the cracks in the ceiling. When I wrote that, I remember I was in such a depressive state that I never wanted to leave my bed. I didn't want to do anything. And it almost seemed like it was a metaphor for like, I pretty much have this room memorized through and through, that I can count the cracks on the ceiling and tell you how many there are. So that's what I meant by that. Her mind was the destination she tried to run away from. So a lot of people also commented on that line saying it didn't make sense. Poetry from Amberlynn Reid doesn't have to make sense, honestly, but in my head it does. Because when I'm depressed, I feel like my mind has a one-track mind. It wants to just bury me alive almost, and I feel like that's its destination. Its destination is to make me feel horrible and to make me feel worthless and lonely and like just horrible. So that destination is an area that I want to run away from. I don't ever want to arrive at that destination, but there are times that I do.
And you let yourself run there constantly because you don't take care of yourself. Go to the fucking doctor, you jackass. Am I the only one? Seriously. Is going to the doctor that fucking hard? That's what I thought. It's not that hard. It's a fucking phone call. Go to the fucking doctor, idiot.
Next line is she forgot how it felt to laugh with other people, beg her to smile and her face would crack. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. There are a lot of times when I am, you know, going through these episodes where I don't laugh. Everyone around me could just be having the time of their lives and it's almost like I'm completely checked out. Beg her to smile and her face would crack. I am so used to not smiling and so used to just being so sad that it's almost like I'm a statue in that sense. So if I was to smile, my face would crack.
Shallow life. Drowning alone, I gasp for air.
I write in a lot of metaphors. That's something that Becky pointed out to me and I never even noticed. Metaphors is just, I don't know. I just like them the best. She hid mascara stained pillowcases and novels full of self-hatred. So what I meant by that is, it's obvious. I used to wear makeup all the time and I don't wear waterproof mascara. So every time I'd cry, you'd see those especially when I was like ugly crying. You'd see that mascara, obviously, and I can't tell you how many times I've gotten mascara on my pillows from crying myself to sleep. And novels full of self-hatred, that's pretty much just talking about, because I do journal a lot, that's just talking about, you know, when I journal about how much I hate myself or I hate my life, or when I make poetry about how much I hate myself or I hate my life, that's what that meant.
Again, wash your makeup off before you go the fuck to bed. You wouldn't ruin your pillowcases. And honestly, call your fucking doctor. You should be telling your fucking doctor this, not the rest of YouTube. Honestly. You wouldn't feel this way if you'd fucking called a doctor. I can't specify this enough. Telling these things to your doctor is all you have to do. If you're willing to tell the internet this, you wouldn't believe what would happen if you told just this stuff right here, to your doctor. The things that would, well, for you it would do nothing because you won't even take your medication properly. So, it really wouldn't do anything. You'd have to actually take the medication as prescribed. Never mind. Do whatever the fuck you feel.
And then the whole part where it's like, ask her how she's doing and she'd lie and say I'm fine. Ask her how she's doing and she'd lie. Ask her how she's doing. Ask me how I'm doing. So what I meant by all those lines is like,
oh no, I got all those. I got all those lines. You're a fucking liar. Oh, no. I definitely understood all those. You're a liar.
like a lot of the times I say I'm fine or I say I'm doing okay. I never just flat out tell people, oh, I'm not doing good, because I don't want them to ask what's wrong, because I personally don't want to talk about it. It's like one of those things where it's like you want people to be there for you, but then you also don't want to talk about it. So it's like this vicious cycle. So I wanted to put emphasis on ask her how she's doing and she'd lie and say I'm fine. Ask her how she's doing and she'd lie. And then when I said ask her how she's doing, it was my way of saying, why can't more people truly ask how someone is doing? Because I feel like when a lot of people ask, hey, how are you doing? It's really just small talk. People don't really ask how someone's doing and really, truly want to know. It's just one of those things. And I'm not the only one who feels that way.
Well, that's what a pleasantry is. Someone says, hi, how are you? The person responds, oh, I'm doing well. Hi, how are you? The other person says, I'm doing well. What did you want them to say? Hi, how are you doing? How are you really doing? Do you want them to then stand there and wait for your 59-page list of shit that's going wrong in your precious life? Let me lay this down for you. You have a job where right now in a pandemic you work from home. You make a large amount of money, larger than most. You have a wonderful girlfriend, awesome friends that you get to live with, and tons of dogs, which you love, and cats that you love. Yeah, you got a pretty good life. Nice home, tons of shit you like. I mean, you're made in the shade. You have a phenomenally great life. But yet you constantly just whine. You won't take responsibility for getting your weight under control, and you take it as far as blaming other people. Everybody else but you made yourself fat, and now you won't do anything to stop it. I mean, you were, but now you're just constantly fucking yourself in the ass. And now we have to give you golf claps and ass pats every time you lose 1 meager pound. When you, by now, you should have lost a hell of a lot more. You want us to get you a Ferris wheel and a bouncy house because you've lost, what is it, what are we up to, 70 pounds now? You want us to do fucking backflips because it's you're finally doing it. Well, I hate to tell you this, but you're not getting a participation trophy because you finally decided to get your life together. Because if that was true, then I'd be getting 2. Maybe 3. Shit. There are tons of people that have it way harder than you and are pushing a lot of shit uphill. But they do more in a day than you've done your entire life. They definitely deserve cookies, ass pats, and hand claps. You have got to be kidding. And now your poetry is nothing but whining. And it's really beginning to, it's just breaking me down. I don't know whether it's the fact that you whining and the sounds of ambulances in my neighborhood just break me down, or it's my fucking arm right now. Probably all 3. But you've got to get a grip.
And then I switched it to ask me how I'm doing. And the whole part, the whole big paragraph, which is in italic font. I'm so tired of being this lonely. I'm so terrified that this is it for me, that these tears are all it'll ever be. I'm beginning to think that you don't want to hold me. I don't want this to be the death of me, for I've lost the best of me. So that is what sometimes I really want to say out loud. I just want to word vomit. But then the last line, I'd lie and say I'm fine. Because that's just realistically how it is. I have all these inner demons and inner thoughts, and just, it's just a lot going up, you know, going on up here and in my heart and stuff. But yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing okay. Thanks for asking, you know. So the part where people are like, okay, this is about Becky. The lines, I'm beginning to think that you don't want to hold me. I don't want this to be the death of me, for I have lost the best of me. So definitely not about Becky in the way that you guys think. So when I am depressed, or when I'm feeling super down, lonely, I think that everyone in my life hates me. And it's just a thought. It's not real. I know it's not real. And I have to remind myself all the time that it's not real. And if Becky was to ask me, how are you doing? And it was during a time where this is how I felt, lonely and down and horrible, that is what I would want to say. I'd want to say, I feel like you don't love me, you don't want to hold me, you know, this is the death of me, and I've lost the best in me. That isn't me talking, that's the depression talking. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that. And when I say, for I've lost the best in me, it means that depression has completely taken over. And I just feel like I'm not even myself anymore, because that's not who I am. I'm not Amberlynn, the depressed girl, or whatever.
Ouchies, 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 I hurt my arm. My tit. Ouch. Ouch, I felt it in my tit. Ouch, my tit. Ow, my titties. Oh, shit. Oh, my tits. Oh, shit, my tits. Ouch, my tits. Ouch. Owie, ow. My tit. Ouch, 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 I'm not Amberlynn. I'm not some depressed girl. Okay, I'll stop. I think you broke my tit. Ouch. It's okay. I'll stop. Stop. Ow, I think I hurt my tits.
Like, that's just not how it is. Like, I just happen to have depression, and I know a lot of you also have it, and I feel like that's where we relate very well. So
No, bitch. No, bitch. With our depression, we don't fucking relate. That's the one place we honestly don't relate. We could relate on both liking cake, because the shit's delicious. We can relate on having absolutely no fashion sense. We can both relate on being big ladies. But the one thing we will never relate on is mental health. Because when my mental health is declining, you want to know what I do? I call my doctor and make an appointment and tell somebody that I'm having issues. If the doctor's office isn't open, I talk to my husband. And if it can't wait, and it's more than we can handle, you go to the emergency room and tell them that something bad is happening. Something seriously fucked up. I would never, ever let the kind of shit go on that you have going on with your mental health. Ever. I have bipolar disorder. We're not dangerous people. We can be functional adults. Amazing functional adults. That's why I make sure my mental health is under control. It's because there's one of you people who just lets yourself all hang out like we don't know how to act. We can't take our medicine. We don't wash our hair for 2 months. And there's one of you that they give a whole platform to. But the rest of us, grown-ass adults with bipolar disorder, we're out here not letting it run us. We're running our bipolar disorder. Because we don't want to be like you. And the fact that you're behaving like this, I would just be fucking embarrassed. I mean, if you're just getting your bipolar disorder on the lockdown in the beginning, when you just become diagnosed, yeah, I can understand. Working things out, finding the right medications, the shit can be kind of scary. It can be a little up and down. Choose a grown-ass adult. What are you even doing? No. Hell no.
I hope that made sense to some of you. It's definitely, none of this is because of Becky. I think that's very strange.
You think it's strange that people would think of Becky? Right away in the beginning you say that you're sad, you're always lonely, you go then to say you're scared that this might be all it is for me. These tears are all it will ever be. And then you say some shit about why don't you want to hold me or some shit like that. Yeah, that points to the person who lays in bed next to you. That and you cry yourself to sleep. You know, the whole bit about the mascara on the pillow crap. People cry themselves to sleep, and if someone's lying next to you and is hearing you cry yourself to sleep and is ignoring it, that is kind of dickish. I can understand why people would see this as about your significant other. Yeah.
That you guys would think that I just have my own problems, whether I'm with Becky or someone else or single, it doesn't even matter. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to explain that. And again, it's not like the best poem in the world. It's just how I was feeling at the time. And I wanted to share it with you guys because a lot of you didn't understand on Instagram, didn't understand like how I was feeling and stuff. So I figured a poem would help with that. And I actually wrote this June 12th, 2019. So yeah, I write poetry all the time. It's just something I really love doing. And my poetry has gotten a lot better, in my opinion. I used to make really long poems, too long. And now I try to make poems that aren't so long. I even write poems that are like 2 sentences. Like this one is called Secret Love. You sat next to me today and I could smell the cherries that lived in your hair. You smiled at me without knowing that you were the reason I wore my favorite shirt. That's just, that to me, all you need is those 2 lines to know that you are in love with, either you can look at it as you're in love with your best friend, or someone could look at it as you're infatuated with just a friend of yours or someone at your school. Like it could literally mean anything. Or here's another 2-liner. It's called Cursive.
Can you stop? I'm not enjoying them. Just because they're shorter and dumber doesn't mean that you can just keep reading them.
All my poems are the same, loneliness written in a million different ways, which is so true. So, you know, years and years ago, I thought all my poems had to be super long, but I've realized that sometimes you ain't gotta do that. Like, here's another one. This is 3 lines. It's called Cheap Wine. You must love noise, playing with an innocent mind with your dirty hands and cheap wine. This is a lot.
No, it sounds like the lyrics to a Billy Joel song that you ripped off. That is so stupid. Can we please stop? This is just getting on my it's getting on my nerves. You're just getting on my nerves. Just because there are a few sentences doesn't mean you just read as many as you want. This is kind of like going to get coffee on poetry night. And the second you go in there to order your coffee, you're like, oh my god, it's poetry night. We'll get the coffee to go. And then you realize they fucking locked the door. And broke the key off in the lock.
That you are horrible and you're taking advantage of someone. See, all you need is a few words and it could say a lot. So anyways, I'm rambling. I just wanted to kind of explain that. So anyways.
No, you didn't just want to explain that. You had a few people tell you, oh, that's really good. You should totally have it published. So you thought, oh, this is going to be good. I'm going to get tons of people all stoked on me. So you put it on your YouTube channel thinking that you'd have more people stoked on you. But I hate this. This is a piece of garbage and I want to leave now. So let's stop saying words. You go first.
I know I'm going to get a lot of hate on this video, and it's hard to see other people be attacked for things that they're passionate about, whether it be like a painting or, you know, a short film they made or whatever it is. And
then why did you do this? If you don't have the balls Why'd you do this?
It is kind of hard for people to judge my feelings. That's like really weird, right? It's like a really weird way of thinking it because that's pretty much what's happening. But
it is so funny that she's so worried about everyone criticizing her. She had no problems criticizing the new Grudge movie, calling it like basically trash. Any movie she's seen and hated, she's no problems talking about it like it's a piece of trash lit on fire. But God forbid someone say something shitty about her fucking poetry.
anyways, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys do want to hear a little bit more poetry from me, like really old stuff, and then see the difference between then and now, that could be really interesting. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Well, it's time to go. Hang up your happy faces. Like, subscribe, share, but if you don't, I completely understand why. I'm a dick. As I said, this week is gonna be dicey. I will let you guys know what's going on with my arm. But we'll see. And I'll talk to you guys later. Deuces.